try to make do with what I have today as far as my lighting and my shooting location. I didn't think it would be prudent or wise to shoot outside. If you are from the Northwest or familiar with Western Washington this time of year, March 24th, 2026, time on deck, 08, then you know it's a toss-up as to whether or not it's going to be raining or not. I've been looking at the forecast. I knew it was going to rain today. So here we are, sitting here having a chat about really nothing in particular other than just some of the things that I want to bring up for this little series of videos that I'm doing. You might be seeing this video a little bit later on, as the channel is really new right now. I have 28 subscribers. That's it. At its height, when I did this some years ago, I think I got up to somewhere around 30,000, maybe 40,000 at one point, then went away, took a hiatus, and now we're starting from scratch. So if you're coming to this video a little bit later, just bear with me, because some of the things we're talking about in terms of current events and a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world might be a little bit dated by the time this video rolls into your suggested video feeds. So here we are, Iran and Cuba. Those are still some real hot topic issues. Do you think it's wise for the Iranian regime to try to hold on to their power to the degree that they're doing right now? I don't see a lot of wisdom in their decisions, because it seems to me that there are some inevitable outcomes in all of this. Our military is so strong, our projection of our foreign policy is so strong, and the desire for the Iranian people's will to be free is so strong that it's gonna make the Iranian regime implode. And I don't think they're gonna survive this. And that ties into the theme of this whole video that I'm doing today on wisdom and how it all fits into the puzzle of Stoicism. Wisdom is one of those things that can elude us a lot of the times. I mean, I've made lots of unwise choices in my life over the years. I'm sure you have too. I'm sure you've made decisions where you look back and you're like, you know what, that wasn't really wise. It was fun, and it might have been impulsive, and it might have felt good at the time, but it wasn't entirely the wisest thing you had done. I think I alluded to this in my integrity video about some of those choices I made during my active duty days. We've all made mistakes in life. I mean, that's part of our experience here on this earth. We're going to make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect. It's unbelievable, I know, but yeah, no, we're not going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. But here's something that I have found. And these are some points that I pulled when I was kind of researching this and trying to come up with some ideas and talking points for you guys. If you detach from outcomes, you might find that you're going to enjoy a better day. What does that mean, detach from outcomes? Don't get so hung up on a desired outcome of this thing that you might be doing, whatever the venture, whatever it is. When I say it can be a very broad spectrum of things that you want to have happen in your day. And if you focus solely on a very specific outcome and try to control things to the degree that it drives you to distraction, you're going to be very unhappy. Always have in mind that things aren't always going to go your way. That's all part of wisdom. That's just all part of life, right? You know, and none of us are immune to this, right? I don't go through the day thinking, oh, gee, nothing went my way today. Boy, I'm just happy about that. I'm trying to deal a little bit in reality as I share these things. I'm not sharing this from the vantage point or the viewpoint like I'm perfect and I'm going to impart all this wisdom on you. We're just having dialogue. Okay, so try to detach from outcomes. You don't control the world, only your judgment of it. Yeah, you can't control the world itself. The world is the world, but what you can control is your judgment of it. And I think that kind of speaks for itself. The way I perceive the world, I can control. The way I perceive my experience in the world, I can control to a degree. I can't control the world. I can't control the way the world works. The world works the way it works. It's just the laws of nature, the laws of the way the world's been working since the beginning of it all. That's a little bit kind of out there, but something to consider. How can I tie this into reality, into the current situation? Well, I look at, okay, let's talk about Cuba. We've talked about Iran. We'll talk about Cuba. I think what they're going to do in their world, at least their regime, the communist dictatorship of Cuba, they're going to try to control their world for them, the world that they've created for themselves, the little cabal of government and the little entity that they've created and passed on in that communist dictatorship, foregoing the rights of the people that actually live in Cuba, and in fact trampling on the rights of the people that live in Cuba for their own power. And they're going to find it difficult to control that world that they've created for themselves. What do I mean by that? Well, exactly what I talked about with Iran. Is that foreign policy, once enacted by the United States in the Western Hemisphere, is going to make it very difficult for the communist dictatorship to stay in business. I know, it's a little bit of an oxymoron because communists don't really conduct business. All they do is control and maintain power. That'll be a topic for another video. I don't want to get too sidetracked. Wisdom is not knowledge, only knowing what truly matters. That kind of speaks for itself also. It's not knowledge of things. I mean, we all possess knowledge of stuff. But knowing what truly matters and how we apply knowledge in our lives is really what's more important. The rest of it's just information. Like this. I mean, you could click on this video and think, yeah, this doesn't apply to me today. And that's totally fine. Because you might have a different focus throughout the day. And this doesn't apply to it. So, there you go. And the other thing is, and this kind of ties into what I just said, you don't need more, you just need clarity. You don't need more information. You don't need more stuff. You don't need more things in your life. You just need a little bit of clarity. I'll make it relatable. There go my lights. Sorry about that. Okay, I'll make it relatable. So when I paint, you know, I don't know if you guys know, I like to paint. I like to oil paint. I find that I don't need more in my oil painting. I just need clarity on how to apply techniques to make my paintings appeal to me, first and foremost, because I want to get the satisfaction of the skill level that I'm at. And by doing more and trying to put more things into it, sometimes the end result is it's not good. It just looks like I put a lot into it for the sake of putting a lot into it, when in fact I should have just looked at the clarity and look at the composition and just go with what would be right for the painting. Again, I know, a little bit of esoteric kind of rant, but the point I'm trying to get across is, yeah, sometimes you just don't need more. Sometimes less is better. There we go. Less is better. I could have just said that, and that would have sufficed. Okay, and reason over impulse. That all kind of ties into this concept of wisdom, and that in order to achieve true wisdom, I think, the way I perceive it anyways, is that if you can reason through things rather than just impulsively chasing things, you'll find that your understanding of those things increases, rather than trying to take on a whole volume business of information and stuff that you feel you have to just be constantly pursuing all of the time. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So take it for a grain of, take this with a grain of salt. Because again, I'm not coming at this from the perspective or from the vantage point of talking down or having, proclaiming to be the duty expert on any of this. But I try to relate this to real world. I try to relate it to some of the stuff in my life so that it becomes an interesting thing for you and I to talk about, discuss. And the real world events are great because honestly, if you just turn on the news and get into the feeds and all the blogs and all of the different various things that we all kind of look at throughout the day, you can get a pretty good idea that we typically lack a little bit of wisdom, I think, in this world. We're not looking at things really objectively. I don't think we typically react, and our media is designed that way. I think I've touched on this, in that they make the story and they make the information very inflammatory and very engaging and very much something that you want to react or be triggered by. They do this intentionally. It keeps you hooked, keeps you coming back for more. So keep that in mind. We'll talk more. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.